Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Automox Hands-on IT podcast. As always, I'm your host, Landon Miles. Today, we're going to be talking about CVEs, what they are, and what you may not have learned about in school. So, what is a CVE? CVE stands for Common Vulnerabilities and Exposure. So think of a CVE kind of like a license plate number for a vulnerability. It's a global unique ID, something like CVE 2025 12345. That ties every tool, vendor, note, blog post, or help desk ticket to the same identity. One ID, one issue. Every CVE follows the same format. So it's CVE, year, unique ID. So for our example, CVE 2025, this is a CVE that came out in 2025. Then the unique ID, 12345, for instance, that is the unique ID that ties to that CVE. Nothing else will have that one. Now, a CVE is a record, not a judgment. It tells you what the issue is and how dangerous it is. The danger score lives somewhere else. Hold that thought for CVSS. So, why does this matter? CVE standardizes communication across vendors, scanners, and ticketing systems. It speeds up coordination, and when a CVE is released, you can search your environment for that exact thing instead of playing name guessing games. So, who hands out CVEs? That's another three-letter acronym, a CNA. CNA stands for CVE Numbering Authority, and these are trusted organizations, so major vendors, research groups, and coordinators approved to assign CVE IDs within their scope. Here's how it works. A researcher or vendor identifies a vulnerability, and a CNA assigns a CVE ID and coordinates disclosure details. The record gets published so the entire industry talks about one problem consistently. So, knowing the CNA helps you predict how quickly pat details and patches might land. Microsoft, for instance, they have Patch Tuesday. Patch Tuesday is the second Tuesday of every month, and often Microsoft and other vendors will release their latest batch of security updates. It's predictable by design, and the goal is coordination. It gives admins a regular cadence to test, approve, and deploy patches across Windows, Office, and related products. Microsoft, in this instance, is the CNA. They may be pulling in research from people that report patches or security researchers that report patches or patches that they find. So it also can be a double-edged sword. Patch Tuesday and CVEs. Attackers watch these also to understand the new exploits and vulnerabilities that have been found, and they look for ways that they can exploit them. That's why it's important to patch. That's why it's important to make sure your devices are being mitigated and that you understand what your software stack is and what vulnerabilities may be running on your systems. The CVE program is overseen by MITRE and sponsored by the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agent, or CISA. They maintain a master list of CVEs after the CNAs submit new vulnerability records. While each CVE identifies a specific security issue, it's important to remember that not every new CVE results in an exploit. Threat actors typically focus on high severity vulnerabilities in widely deployed software where potential impact and return are the greatest. All right, now let's talk about CVSS. CVSS is a severity score. It stands for Common Vulnerability Scoring System. It's a number between 0 and 10, so 6.5, 8.1, 9.8. You'll see these in advisories a lot of time. Think of it as a framework for estimating technical severity. So within the CVSS score, there's a few things that go into it. One is the attack vector. How does the attacker get in? Is it remote? Does they have to be local to the computer? Can it be over the network? Two is attack complexity. How hard is it? How hard is it to exploit this vulnerability? Do you need to be an expert and kind of follow this exact chain of events, or can anyone do it? Next is privileges required. So this can be no privileges required. You have to be a user. You have to be an administrator. User interaction. Does someone have to click on something? Can it be done without any user interaction? Then there's scope. Scope measures whether a successful exploit of a vulnerability can affect another component on the system. So can it start expanding? Impact is what happens if this vulnerability is exploited. But remember, CVSS is technical severity, not business risk. A 9.8 on a test box that with no route to anything might be less urgent for you to patch than the 7.5 on a public-facing app tied to revenue. So use CVSS as your starting point and then layer in context. Is it internet exposed? Is there a proof of concept of this vulnerability? Is it being actively exploited? If someone does exploit it, what's the blast radius of if this happens? So where can you find CVE information? So you've got some really good options. Use more than one. One of them is the MITRE CVE list. This is an authoritative directory for CVE IDs and descriptions. NVD, National Vulnerability Database. This adds CVSS scores, references, and searchable metadata. And then there's vendor advisories and portals. So Microsoft, we talked about Patch Tuesday. Apple has recently, they have security notes for each release now. Cisco, Adobe, all of these will have their own security pages. This is usually the fastest path to patches. There's also the CISA Known Exploited Vulnerability Catalog, or CISA KEV. This is the gold standard for what's actively exploited. And then there's a bunch of open source trackers also. Okay, so now let's say you find a CVE. It shows up. What do you do with it? Here's a mental loop that you can run through every time. So first, keep an eye out. Follow MITRE, NVD, your vendors, and CISA's known exploited list. When something new drops, ask 3 questions. Is there a patch? Is there a proof of concept? Is it being actively exploited? Next, put it in context. A critical score doesn't always mean critical for you. Know your systems, know your network, know your software stack. If it's actively exploited and internet facing and affects your software stack, go patch it. Figure out how to mitigate it. It moves to the top of the list. If it's deep inside your internal network with no easy path in, you've got a little bit of breathing room. Still needs to be patched, but you've got a little bit of breathing room. Figure out where it lives. Use your patch management tools. Understand whatever systems you have to see which systems are actually affected, which aren't. And if it takes more than a few clicks to figure this out, that's your homework for next time. From there, reduce exposure. If you can't patch it immediately, close the doors. This is called mitigation. Disable the vulnerable feature, tighten firewall, or apply a mitigation worklet to buy time. After that, patch and verify. Don't just push the update, confirm it landed, make sure everything is working correctly, run a targeted scan for that CVE, and close the ticket once you've seen proof. And finally, learn from the scramble. Update your images, tighten automation, and note what slowed you down. Every CVE is a fire drill, and you might as well improve the exit plan each time. All right, so that's the tour. CVE, Universal ID. CNAs assign CVEs. CVSS helps you size up severity. And knowing the vulnerability classes tells you the likely blast radius and your next move. So until next time, I'm Landon Miles. This is Hands on IT. Stay curious, stay kind, and go patch something.